What's going on, you guys? It's everybody's good old boy, Map Right, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for the book Legend, and you can see it right here. It has an award on the front, so that tells you it's a good book. It is by Marie Lu, or Mary Lou. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Mary Lou, whatever. And I'm just going to give my opinions on it today. I'll show you what the author looks like. There she is. And I apologize, there's a lawnmower. My dad's mowing the grass. But I'm just going to give my opinions on it. First off, this is going to have spoilers if you're considering reading this book. I'm going to basically tell you the story, the plot, what happens at the end, and what I thought about it, my opinions, if I recommend it. It says that it's about a romantic thriller set in a post-apocalyptic world where nothing is what it seems. Legend is impossible to put down and even harder to forget. And then somebody else says, a gripping thriller in a dystopic future Los Angeles. This is no didactic near-future warning of a present evils, but a cinematic adventure featuring an enduring, compelling heroes. Okay, let me just say, this is just going to be what I took from it, what I thought of the book. I personally didn't think it was a romantic at all. I mean, yeah, the two main characters were obviously a couple, but I don't think that it really focused. I don't think the big deal was that they were dating. Like, I would compare this book to The Hunger Games. I think it was very similar, like really similar to The Hunger Games. But I think The Hunger Games sort of focuses in on them being a couple, you know. I think one of the big deals in The Hunger Games is that they're dating, and I don't think it's this like this in the book. There's a few scenes where, yeah, they make a big deal out of it, but other than that, it's not a huge deal in the book, which I prefer it that way. I'd rather just read a more action kind of book. Anyway, so I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to tell you what the book's about. So if you're considering reading it, this is going to have some spoilers. Anyway, so it's about, in the American map, there's the left side, you know, the west side, like California, Nevada, all that, you know. Basically from Texas, that way, is the bad side, but in the beginning you think it's the good side, but it's the bad side. Then on the right side, the east side, Kentucky, you know, and New York, I don't know, just the east side of the country, you know, like Georgia and all that stuff. It's called the Colonies of America. So, in the Republic of America, which is the west side, that's basically the rich side. The Colonies is fighting, this is in the future, okay, so the Colonies is fighting for what America used to be, like what it is right now, like with liberty and stuff. So really the Colonies is the good side, and they're called the Patriots. And then the left side is basically trying to turn it into a communism. They're purposely making people sick. They're purposely killing people. They are using people's lab rats. And so they're basically in North Korea. And then what happens is, in the rich side, there's this chick, and they have to take this trial every year, which is like state testing. Well, when you turn 10, you have to take a trial. And she got a perfect score, like 100%, it was a 1500, as good as it can get. So she was destined to be a high agent, like a top secret, you know, up there. She was destined to be that person. And then, her parents are dead, which was killed by the Republic. She doesn't know that. She thought it was a car crash, but in the end of the book, it tells you that the Republic killed the parents. And she lives with her brother. And then on the poor side of the Republic, there is like the slums, the ghetto, and there's this kid his family thinks that he's dead, and his little brother gets the plague, which is a sickness that the Republic purposely gives their people. His little brother gets that, and so he breaks into a hospital to find medication for his brother, and he hasn't seen his family in like 5 years. They thought that he was dead, except for his older brother. He communicates with his older brother secretly. And so he broke into a hospital to get medication for the plague that his brother has at the beginning. And the plague, the government gives people a plague. So he didn't just get the plague, the government gave it to him. And they're basically using them as lab rats. And nobody knows about that. So he breaks into a hospital to get medication. The girl that I was telling you about, she lives with her brother. And her brother was guarding the hospital because he was also like a top secret agent. And when the boy breaks out, his name's Day, and the girl's name is June. And when the boy breaks out of the hospital, he jumps out of like a 2-story building. And when he jumps out, he breaks his leg basically, and he's about to like just take off and run, but he gets surrounded by soldiers. And the girl's older brother says, stop, put down your weapons, whatever. He had 2 knives. And he basically says, stop. And then, so he throws a knife. He aims right at the girl's brother's shoulder. He hits her shoulder. And I'll tell you what happens later. And he gets framed for killing him. They said that the knife hit him in the heart, but it hit the shoulder. Somebody else killed him. We'll talk about that later. Well, the brother had a best friend, Thomas. And Thomas goes and tells the girl that, he's been murdered by the boy named Day. So Day escapes in the sewers. He gets away from there. And then, basically, the girl named June, she goes and tracks him down. And, she's, like, living with him for a couple days. And she's about to turn him in. He was living on the streets. And he saves her from, like, a fight on the streets is basically how they meet. And so she stays with him for a little bit until she gets, recovered from the fight. And then the government comes and she calls him in to come capture this guy because she thought that he killed her brother, but he didn't. And he was captured, and they sort of were like in love sort of thing. It was sort of a romantic thing, but it wasn't a huge deal, like I said. And like I said with the Hunger Games really focused in on them being a relationship. This book did not really make a big deal out of them being a relationship. Every now and then it was sort of like, yeah, it came up. But it wasn't a huge deal, and I like that. Sorry, I hear something outside. And so they're sort of, she can't really tell how she feels about him. Well, she pulls up a blog of her dead brothers that says that the government's evil, basically. And she realizes what's going on, and then she goes, I'm sorry, I keep on hearing weird things. She goes and basically tells the boy that she's going to rescue him. And then they get out of there, and the guy named Thomas, and I said the brother's friend's Thomas, he is who killed her brother. So basically the government that she thought was really good was poisoning people, purposely killing people, locking people up, doing a whole kind of stuff like that. So they escape there, and the boy's older brother gets killed. His entire family gets killed. And then when they escape, they get onto a train, and they go to help the Patriots. That's basically what happened in the book. So that's what happens. I know that was sort of confusing and all over the place. This is my first book review, and I just finished it this morning, so I'm sort of all over the place when it comes to what happened. But, so my opinions was probably a 4 out of 5, 8.5 out of 10. I think it was a good book. It was better than The Hunger Games, because The Hunger Games focused in on them being in a relationship. I don't really care about that. I'd much rather hear about, people getting killed and explosions and stuff. So, I liked it. It was a really good book. I personally think it's better than The Hunger Games. I'm going to have a whole bunch of 13-year-old girls throwing rocks at my windows, mad at me for saying that, but I think it's better than The Hunger Games. I don't know, that's just my opinion, and it really, when I first started reading it, like if you've ever read the first Harry Potter book, the very beginning's boring, you're kind of, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, and you really just want to get done with, you're just like, I just want to set this down, I'm done with it, but once you get into it, it really picks up and it gets fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it once I got to maybe like page 20, 30. I really started to like it, and I couldn't put it down. So, yeah, it's 300 pages long. It's better than The Hunger Games, in my opinion. But yeah, that's really all I can say about it. I like it. It's good. I hope everybody goes and reads it. I'm going into the 9th grade this year. That's why I had to read it. I had to read it for my book project, which I have yet to do now, and school starts in 4 days. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys all go check it out. Yeah, it was a good book, and that's really all I can say. Once again, the author is Mary/Marie Lu. I don't know her name, I'm sorry. There she is. Credits to her. She makes a good book. This was good. And here's what the book looks like. 300 pages. And yeah, I really got addicted to it. So if you're considering reading it, I recommend it. Maybe if you're not into that kind of stuff, I would say maybe read to page 30 and just give it a shot. It was very similar to the Hunger Games. It was better than the Hunger Games, if you ask me. But it had that, it was in the future apocalyptic feel, you know. It was good. It was good. And yeah, a lot of people died, so I mean it wasn't sad, but a lot of people did die. So if you enjoy that kind of book, check it out. And yeah, I keep on feeling like I have something to say, but I guess not. Just yeah, that's it. Your good old boy. Yeah, right.